Thank you for joining me for another Quick Hits conversation. Today, I would like to talk about how to keep big goals from stealing today's happiness. And Kristin, I'd like you to kick us off.
And all I could think of when I got this little notice from you was that we cannot wait to live our life later. We have to consider every day, this is the day we have to enjoy things, to enjoy the people around us, the animals around us, the flowers around us. And I'm a big proponent as a coach and a consultant in setting goals. But when you set goals that take up all of your time and those goals aren't giving you any rewards today, then you have not prioritized anything correctly.
And Simon, you had a response when we were off that I would love for you to reiterate it.
So it comes as part of my reaction to goals and goal setting as being the sort of unquestioned thing you allegedly should do to be a functional human being in some way or another, which I quite violently disagree with. But I think it's not only goal. I mean, we all know the sort of middle-aged man who works way too long in the office and all that sort of thing. He may not be explicitly goals, but he's working short-term and sacrificing long-term, or sacrificing things which aren't directly in front of him. And I think that's a general thing. It's about balance. And yes, you can elevate goals to be the primary sort of bad actor in this, but I think it's a general thing.
Well, and it's interesting because I've taught, I talk a lot to coaches. I have a lot of coach friends. I've talked to a lot of coaches on here, and they're all about, oh yes, goals, goals, goals. But when I ask them, like, do you have goals? Do you measure them? They're much more nebulous about it.
I think it's a fiction.
Catherine, what do you think?
And I would respond to that because, I'm a coach as well and work with lots of people and talk about what they want to have happen. And, even that question is like a little mini invitation towards a goal. What would you like to have happen? But personally, I don't call them goals. I've just done a 10-year plan going, well, where would I like to be in 10 years time, and what might that be like? And so that's an intention and some objectives that I would like to be having.
And do those steal your happiness today in any way? Like the idea that 10 years from now you'd like to be somewhere? Do you experience?
No, because it doesn't. No, not really. Because I'm in the setting of those. They're like Kristin was saying, no, and I'm a coach, so I set balanced goals. So it's like, okay, so it's in the doing of this, I'm present to how I'm doing it right now. So, I'm taking care of myself and my relationships, and I build in time with my kids. Before I came here, I just ran a daughter to the station. I can, have that flexibility. I've already had a lovely time swimming in the rain this morning. And yeah, I still have big, audacious goals or ambitions to happen today as well.
So are we suggesting then that you can have intentions or goals or plans or whatever you call them, and as long as you don't let them run your life, that's okay, and that you can have both?
Yes,
no,
proportional.
I'm saying no to that. I'm saying I'm going to be that coach that you don't like, Simon. I think goals are really important. Short-term, long-term, personal, work. They're important because they give you, and I'm one who helps my clients measure, are they actually going towards it? Because if you have no long-term goals, it's really hard to save for long-term success. And I don't even mean to save money, but save the time aside for education. Put the time, if you don't have a long-term goal where you want to go, then you're not going to spend the time in the short term working towards it. Now, if you have a long-term goal and all you do is concentrate on that, and that's a lack of balance. And part of a good coaching or a good friend or a good parenting is teaching balance. That yes, you have a long-term goal, and when something happens that means you cannot necessarily take that next step, be flexible, be balanced, know what your priority is, know why that was your goal. I mean, things change. Life brings in new factors, and you have to be flexible. So the inflexibility and the lack of living in making sure you're planning to also enjoy today and tomorrow is where the problem lies. But having a long-term goal, I think, can be very valuable.
So, and I kind of, when I work with my clients, I talk about it kind of like I would talk about a golf game. And because I have a sports psychology background, that's why. But when you play golf, you kind of have a goal to get from where you are to the tee. from the tee to the hole. Like that's where you're trying to get. But how you get there depends on where the ball goes and what happens. And so I may ask my clients, if you were to have the best 3 years of your life, 3 years from now, what would you be telling me? They can tell me kind of where they want to be, but how they get there depends upon where the ball lands when they hit it the first time. And I think part of that goes with the golf analogy is if you're not having fun playing golf, your goal is interrupting your life. You need to do something about that.
And it's even like telling a younger person that their goal is to graduate with a certain kind of degree. That was their goal. They wanted that. So they have to take the small steps in between. They should certainly enjoy that time while they're going to school and do other things too. And then when they're a junior and they discover an entire new field of endeavor that lights them up from the inside, they should be flexible enough to change that goal. They should understand this is the rest of their life. And the one goal they set when they were 17 doesn't have to be the goal they hold on to at 20.
So the question that's in my mind is, are goals necessary as a thing? Like should you have goals?
I want to check
full stop.
What Kristin's calling a goal, and
Okay.
I'm calling an objective or maybe an intention, and whether there's something else, a plan or an idea.
I think that we might be saying the same thing. I think I would call it a goal, and and when you were speaking, I thought, well, I would call what you're calling a goal. I think it could go either way.
I mean, Simon, you run a successful business. Surely you have like intentions or plans or ideas. Like it doesn't just willy-nilly go about where it wants to go, does it? Oh, the face says it might.
No, but I've got evidence otherwise, because do you know, Simon?
Really?
You've got OKRs. Come on.
For other people.
No, but for your business.
Only because I feel I should have them, and they seem to be something that makes everybody else happy. I don't have them for me. That's me. That's me trying to fit with what to give other people the certainty that they require. Because part of my job is to allow people to see what success looks like for them. But do I have goals? I suspect if any of you coached me, you'd be absolutely appalled at my complete disinterest in goals, and would probably tell me off for it. And that's the thing that I find really interesting, is that there certainly seems to be a coaching mindset or methodology which expects to require everyone to have goals, and you're wrong if you don't. And
but if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably be happy with wherever you end up, I suppose.
Yes. Isn't that awesome? Wouldn't it be wonderful if we, instead of going, I'm going to do this, and that makes me a real man, and I'm going to go and dominate this industry, and that is everything that's wrong with this world. Why don't you be happy with what you've got and go with the flow in terms of whatever everything else is going on around you is giving you the information about where you need to go. But instead, we tell everyone they have to have goals. And now, getting onto the subject that we were going to talk about next, the planet is burning. Because a bunch of men have been to a bunch of coaches, got some goals, and said that they should increase their revenue and buy expensive cars.
Simon, you're assuming that everybody's goals have to be the one you find so objectionable. If I have a client,
I mean, I'm objecting to the value statement that goals are the thing.
No, and I'm saying that they're not the thing. They are a helpful tool to reaching the thing. So
is it okay not having goals?
Somebody has decided that they want to achieve something. Okay? That's something that they do internally. If you have not internally decided that you want to care where you are 5 years from now or 5 months from now, you're perfectly fine just the way you are, and nobody should tell you, well, you need to have a plan and you need to set up goals. That's not the job of a coach. The job of a coach is to help people who do have a desire or an intention to absolutely set up a plan to reach that desire or intention, to set goals that meet the plan's metrics along the way so they can achieve those desires or intentions, Catherine, and then help them also not get so blinded by it that they don't enjoy today too.
So do you ever get people rocking up going, I don't have goals, I just want to be happy?
Absolutely. I have clients who come to me and they just want to be happy. And the biggest thing we have to do is unmask all of the stuff goals they have, they aren't actually their goals. So there is that space. So that is our 10 minutes. So I have to cut us off there, even though this is a super interesting conversation. So I'm going to say thank you. And I'm going to stop the recording, and then I'm going to turn it back on, because who knows where we might go next.